Hey guys, it's Catfish here again and welcome back to my channel. Right now I'm accompanied by Annaliza, my girlfriend, and she's gonna be commenting with me on this gameplay that we just played. So I don't know if you noticed, but right here in the team, I play by Truth. So my name is actually Truth. That's my alternative account and she's Annaliza. So we've been doing a couple duo versus squads and we found this game is pretty interesting, so we want to share with you guys. So just gonna jump right into it. The game starts off and we jump and just quickly looking at the map real quick. So, yep. Oh, how do I get the map back? Okay. I can't really get the right frame on the map. Okay, there it is. We're jumping Blomster because it not only is a late on the plane path. So, you know, like I said in my very first video, if you jump early like Eastport or Midstein, you can expect a hot drop. In this case, Logistics Center is a bit later, you know, kind of like mid-flight, but because there's an advanced supply zone, you can also expect a lot of people there. Usually by this point in the plane path, you can expect around only like 20 or 30 people left. We also have a power plant right here, so any remaining people who want a bit of a warmer drop instead of a hot drop, they will go to power plant. And then, you know, you have people, you know, scattered in various areas. You might have some in Grandhus, you might have some in Old Plaza, maybe some people who went to Hot Springs, and definitely some people in Crabgrass. The reason why we went to Blomster is because we wanted a cold drop so we can get fully looted up before we engage people. That's also incredibly important because we're playing duo versus squad, so we are already at a disadvantage fighting people, you know, with 4 people on their team. So we jump there and, you know, we loot up. We loot up and then nothing really happens. Yeah, we stay there. So we go. Skip. The interesting thing about Blomster, I just want to mention, is that they have the soccer field. In case you guys didn't know this soccer field, let me back up here. This soccer field, if you kick the balls in, if you make a goal with these balls, this machine shoots out shop tokens, which can then be used to buy attachments and scopes you need from the shop. In my experience, they usually shoot around 25 to 30 tokens, so that's, you know, a very good thing. That's another reason why I like Blomster, because it's a little like, you know, place that's just kind of like tucked in a corner, but it also gives you a lot of loot. So if you're playing duo versus squad and you have a disadvantage, you might want to consider going there. All right, so let's game. And then, yeah, we finished looting. All right. So at this point, this is where the current situation is at. We finished looting and we took a look at the map, and the current situation is that, let me play it for, okay, there it is. We are center zone. So this is a highly unusual thing to happen. So okay, yeah, that's the map. So in the time it took for us to get fully looted up, which took around 9 minutes, you know, the zone has completely shifted towards us. So we are center zone. This is highly, highly unusual because most of the time on Livik, zone usually shifts towards like Grandhus or Midstein, somewhere more center zone. So the fact that we are center zone means that that's a good thing. That means we don't have to travel as far to get to where we need to go. We can just stay put and be on the defensive. The downside to that is what I mentioned in my previous video, which is you missed out on 90% of the gameplay. And the problem with that is that you don't know where any of the enemies are, right? Because you're just, you know, you're in Blomster, and you know there's people probably fighting in Midstein, Grandhus, Crabgrass. You don't know where anyone is. So that's the downside. So, you know, when you're in this situation, the best thing you can do is just to, you know, wait and see, wait until you hear gunshots before you make your move. Because the worst thing you can do for yourself is just to drive around, you know, places like, you know, like this hill here, you know, move up to Crabgrass right there, you know, move north, and then find yourself being pinned down by 3 squads that were there from the start before you showed up. So what me and Annaliza are going to do, we're actually going to push up to this building right here. And the way we're leaving Blomster is exactly as I described in my other video, where you kind of leave to this southern flank. Again, like I mentioned in my other video, you never want to leave Blomster by running through this main road because you can get shot from these people at the hill over here and over here. You also don't really want to go this way because once you go this way, you have to go around this entire mountain to make it to where you really need to go. The only reason you'd ever need to want to go north is if the circle shifted towards Grandhus. Then you'd go north and make it into Grandhus that way. But in this case, since we are in the center zone, there's really no reason for us to go further north towards the edge of zone, so we move south this way. Since we've looted Blomster completely, as of right now, we know that this entire area, for the most part, is safe. So everywhere to the to the left of my blue line is safe. So we know that all the enemy is, if I were to zoom out here, the ones that are, still alive, of course, is going to be here, about here. This is most likely where the remaining enemies are. So, taking a look at how many people are alive, there's actually only 9 people left alive in the game. So, including us, that means there's 7 enemies that we're going to be fighting, all right? So, going back to where we were, okay, we're going to drive to the house that was marked.
5. Oh, no. He's behind the rock now.
Maybe we shouldn't shoot.
We should go to zone.
Yeah. Interesting moment that I almost glossed over. At some point, Analyza spots an enemy at this hill here. I didn't see him. Oh, where was he?
Oh, he was behind this rock. He was walking towards that way.
Oh, okay. He was from here walking this way? Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So one of the reasons why we didn't shoot is because if we were to shoot right now, notice how we're not in zone. If we were to shoot, it's very, very easy for the enemy to move up to this location right here and laser us as we're trying to leave. So another key point is that if you're trying to make it to zone and you see an enemy that's further down the path than you are, don't shoot, because if you shoot, then he's just going to turn around and gatekeep you, right? So you would rather make it to zone first, hold your fire, and play it safe for them. All right, so then we make it to zone, and then, all right, let's see. Yeah, so we take the car and we move to zone. We're chilling here.
Scary.
Okay, again, so we hear a shot from somewhere in around this direction, right here. And again, the best way to, if there were enemies in these houses right now, which I highly don't think there are, because if there were enemies in these houses, we would have been lit up already, being where we are. We have no cover. It's very easy for people to shoot us from either of these 2 balconies. So most likely there's no one in these houses. Now, given that if there are people in these houses, what would you do? Well, what you would do is actually park your car over here behind this tree, and then one person takes this cover and maybe one person pushes up to this tree. Never ever share the same tree, because the problem with trees is that they only provide you cover from one direction. So for example, if you're hiding behind this tree, for example, right? Let's say you're there. You may have cover from this guy's point of view, right? But this guy over here can shoot you. That's the problem with trees. Most likely, in most scenarios, rocks are usually a better cover. So again, the priority, as I mentioned in my other video, is houses, then walls, then hills, then rocks, then trees. What this means is if you can't find a house, find a wall. If you can't find a wall, find a hill. If you can't find a hill, find a rock. And only if you can't find a rock, then you use a tree. Otherwise, rarely use trees as cover. It's really easy to get your elbow or your legs shot from an angle you didn't foresee. All right, but luckily, there are nobody at those houses, so then we're able to safely push up to here. The reason why you wouldn't necessarily want to be in this house right here is because this house doesn't give you as good of an angle on this hill that's over here on the left. And on top of that, the balcony that is over here is extremely exposed to the hill that's over here. So it's a very exposed house, and there's not a lot of places you can go that can really give you a vantage point. What I like about this house right here on the left is that in case enemies do rush you and they start throwing grenades, you can back off to this balcony right here and close the door. Enemies that are most likely to push from this direction and this direction, they're going to throw grenades on the windows on this side of the house. And when they throw grenades on this side of the house, on this front side of the house, once you close this door, those grenades aren't going to be able to reach you. So that's why I chose that house over the house on the right. All right, so we're going to see what happens here.
I think we can push it to this house.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of a funny moment right there. I was gonna go left around the house to enter the house. 2 things made me change my mind. Yeah. One of which was I heard shots immediately in that direction, and I realized that was a really bad idea. And the second is that there's no door there, so there's really no reason to enter the house that way. I mean, there's a window literally right over here, right over there. So there's no reason why I can't just park here, jump in that window. So decisions like that. I could have been lit up right there. So
I think we can push it to this house.
Yeah.
yeah, bad idea.
Go in this window. Don't go to the left.
I got supplies.
Secure this house.
Whenever you pull up, again, like what I mentioned in my other video, whenever you have a really good idea, always assume every other person in the same game has the same good idea. Whenever you think you're in a really good house, always assume that another team is already there. Me and Annalisa have ran into this issue in the past where we pull up on a house, we think it's a great place to camp, and guess what? There's a full squad waiting for us and we get lit up, right? So whenever you pull up on a house, always clear first, check every corner, be careful as you move up the stairs because there could always be someone proning here, there could be someone hiding behind a corner over there, they could be behind a door. Always secure the house before you decide to camp it, right?
And the house is like next to it too, because sometimes people can throw grenades from the other houses.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's especially in a compound where every building is within grenade throwing distance. You want to make sure every compound in every house in the compound is completely secure before you decide to safely camp. Because we know that, we're very sure, we're pretty sure that there's no one in this house to our right. We're able to, camp here, relatively with a peace of mind. But yeah, typically you should clear every house in a compound. All right.
I don't like this. A lot of bad angles.
Smoke 170.
Oh.
Oh, they're shooting us.
15.
Never ever stay in windows or door frames because always stay prone or fully behind cover using your third person perspective to spot enemies, and only stand in the window once you're ready to shoot. If you stand in the window, you can get lit up like I almost did right there. There's one time when Annalisa was was it door frame?
Oh yeah, it was a door frame, I think, in crabgrass.
Yeah, I know what happened.
And there was an angle that I didn't take account of, and they just shot me from that other angle, and I just died instantly. So
yeah, and the dangerous thing about doorways as opposed to windows is that a window, worst comes worst, you can always just prone, and most of the time they can't hit you unless if there's a hill. But the dangerous thing about doorways is that your entire body is exposed. So I never ever camp doorways if you're trying to camp a house. Always prone beneath a windowsill and only stand up when you're ready to shoot.
Here's UMP. You're the first.
Pretty good. I like it.
So naturally, exactly what I said, people are going to be throwing grenades in. And when someone throws a grenade in, the good thing about this house is that, again, to my right-hand side, there's that balcony. You can close the door, and it can block out 99% of grenades that are thrown in this direction. Worst comes worst, someone can shoot that door. But, for them to be able to shoot that door, they will either need to be in this exact perfect line of sight to be able to hit that door. So it's very, very unlikely that, that door is going to get shot.
Oh, yeah.
Boosting up. They're really close now. They're really
In tight firefights like this, always be fully boosted up. Because it can give you two advantages. One, sometimes you get very lucky and the enemy deals 99 damage to you, and that 1 HP sometimes makes the difference between whether your team gets killed or not. So always stay boosted because you can't heal in the middle of a firefight. So having constant boost means that your HP is always being replenished, albeit slowly. The other benefit is that it also makes you run faster. So there's really no there's no reason for you not to boost up in a firefight, except for maybe when you're desperate and you don't have a time to. Wait, so where was that enemy? Just real quick.
oh, right over there. It was like a hill.
Uh-huh.
They're running to zone.
Oh, I see.
So I just shot them.
So the good thing about where we're currently located, why we chose to take this house is because this house just happens to be able to gatekeep all those enemies on the hill. So if we were to kind of rewind this footage real quick and go back to why we chose this house in the first place, you can see that, that's too far. Let me just kind of maybe here. So yeah, we know that all the enemies that are left in the game, I think I tapped the wrong button. Yep, all the enemies that are remaining in the game are are in this hill and the hill over here. They need to make it to us because we are at the edge of zone. So if you look closely at the current zone, most of the zone hasn't shifted yet. Later the zone does shift and the zone looks more like this. That means by taking this house right here, we can gatekeep all the enemies that are pushing in from this hill and this hill. So the good thing is that Analyzer was positioned perfectly in a window to be able to light up an enemy you said from this direction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's that
Okay.
direction.
Great.
I think we should do this.
All right. So she gets him off.
I think we'll win, yeah.
95 behind that wall. I don't know if we should rush, but no, we should go to zone.
So yeah, again, always prioritize zone because living zones, they hurt a lot. When you have the choice between getting a kill and gatekeeping and versus making it to zone, always make it to zone first. You can always kill them later, but if you choose to, try to fight them now and you get knocked, there's literally no time for you to heal up and make it to zone. You're pretty much just dead right there. So again, always make it to zone first before choosing to engage an enemy.
I'm scared of that person with the grenade.
Oh man, what the fuck kind of zone is this? I'm gonna push right to the shell case. Guys, you stay here.
When you're in a very tight zone, never share the same cover because one grenade can easily take both of you out. So it's a good idea to move to another cover. So I moved to this shack right here. And right here, I see the enemy, right? I keep tapping the wrong button. Yeah, let me back up here. You can see the enemy camping this tree right here. That's where he is.
Right.
Okay.
Because we can't be. Oh, I see someone.
Enemies
tree right
ahead.
here.
Enemies ahead.
Okay.
Bad mark, but he's at that direction, by that tree. 2-4.
That tree.
Yeah.
So most likely, like I said, if someone's camping you, you should throw a grenade at them. And again, the other thing I said is whenever you get a good idea, always expect the enemy to come up with that same idea. So because throwing a grenade at someone who's camping you is a great idea, you should always expect that an enemy that you're trying to camp against is going to throw a grenade at you.
He's gonna throw a grenade at me.
And see, what do you know? He threw a molly at me.
I'm peeking.
This is a very bad habit. You should never, hard peek someone because they could have a sniper rifle. You can get shot from someone on your left. Like, let's say you're so focused on killing this guy that you completely forget that you're completely exposed on your left-hand side and you get shot from your left-hand side or someone from your right-hand side. Again, it's very unlikely that someone's going to be on my right-hand side because we cleared Blomster. But those people on the hill on my left can easily shoot me now. So usually always stay behind cover until you're ready to shoot. Looking back at this video, I think he was trying to surrender. The jumping up and down without a gun is the universal sign for surrender. Unfortunately, he did throw a molly at me, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and plus, we're in the middle of a firefight, so, I didn't catch that. But he was jumping up and down. He didn't have a gun, so that was very unfortunate. We just lit him up.
I wonder why he did that. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. So sorry, AFCX dope. If you're watching this video, we're sorry we had to shoot you. It was the heat of the moment, and we didn't see you. We didn't see you surrendering.
Someone's on me. Very close.
So the fact that Annalisa says that there's enemies really close to her means that. Do you mind explaining what is the current situation? Where do you think enemies are?
Yeah, so the enemies were actually going through the building to me. They heard me outside, right behind the fence. So right when I heard them coming to me, I wanted Truth to cover me and make sure I was safe. So then they actually went through this house and came to fight me right over there.
Yeah. Whenever enemies are approaching you, always tell your other teammates that there's an enemy approaching you. You want to make sure everyone on the team is completely coordinated and facing the right direction, especially when these two enemies that are currently rushing your teammate is the last two enemies you're fighting. So there's really no other direction you should be looking at except towards that direction. Currently, Annalisa is using a wall, which again is the second best cover you can use, right underneath houses, right? The only mistake she's currently making is that she's using this wall right here. The correct wall she should be using, there's two better choices. One choice is this wall. And this wall is better than this one because it's a right-leaning wall. So right leaning allows you to see the enemy before they see you. If you're left leaning, what left leaning means is that you're going to the left of cover to see the enemy. And that's dangerous because enemies can always get the first shot on you. So this cover right here would have been better if she didn't have time because, again, think about if she had to run from here to here, she can get lit up, right? So the better option actually in this situation is for her to back up and take this cover.
That's true.
Because
yeah, that's actually more towards zone. Because over there, if I were to take that right leaning cover, that's further away from zone, and that would probably be kind of dangerous. So yeah, I agree that wall is much better.
Exactly. And even though this wall is left leaning, so let's say she's standing right here and she's still left leaning, but the thing is I can cover her much better. If an enemy is camping this corner and shooting at her, there's really not much I can do. But if she's here, enemies need to push all the way up to here and I can shoot the enemy as they're trying to make it to her.
Yeah.
So yeah, this cover would have been a better one, but luckily she was able to knock one and I was able to, thirst the last enemy. So let's see how this pans out.
Throw grenades at the house.
Thank you.
So again, it's almost like it's if you make good tactics, if you have good tactic strategy, it's almost like you can predict the future. Had she been at this wall, she wouldn't have been lit up as easily because the enemies will have to come all the way around this fence. And as they're trying to approach her, I can shoot them and then weaken them and then she can finish them off. Because she was at this wall, she was left leaning and that puts her at a much higher disadvantage to fight those people. And that's why she got knocked by the second guy. Yeah. She didn't have that jump. But yeah, that's pretty much how we won, and that's how we were able to, secure the zone against, gatekeep people. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, that's pretty good. I think you did really well with looking at how we did the tactics of this.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.